years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is Alex and this is the Ramble. It goes until midnight tonight. And we go check in with an old friend of ours. You want to talk about a turkey? I got one right here, ladies and gentlemen. Larry Bubbles Brown. Hello, Larry.
The doctor is in.
The doctor is in. Yeah, hi. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Just brooding alone. No, I'll probably go up to my sister's. And
Really?
I don't really. I can't wait for the period between Halloween and New Year's is so annoying. I want it to be over.
Yeah. Well, we
what are you doing?
Well, we invited two. All we had were two people to invite to our Thanksgiving. One of which is my friend Jack Garfine and Natalia, his wife. He's like 78 years old and just a couple of days ago wound up in the hospital with pneumonia.
Oh, geez.
But then we get a call from another one of our friends, and she and her boyfriend don't have anywhere to go, so they'll go pick up Natalia and Jack and come on over. So now it's up to 4. And then, let's see here. All I know is that is now 8 people. And we don't have 8 chairs for the dining room table.
That's a good gathering. Geez.
Yeah, I mean, it started out being nothing, and now it's turning into this fest, as it were. You know, so I hope she's making a big enough turkey. Yeah,
That'll be that's good though. You got a lot of people around. A lot of people are. If you're alone around this time of year, it can be horrible.
Well, you remember when I lived in San Francisco and I was doing the show and everything, on Thanksgiving, I would make a turkey and just invite everybody over who had no place to go, you know.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You may have been there one year. I can't remember.
I was.
Yeah. So, and I enjoyed doing that, you know. And I made a pretty good turkey, I think.
You did. You have surprising culinary skills.
Yes, and yet I've never been able to cook a turkey since because wifey wife will not allow me to turkey turk. You know? No, you can't touch the turkey. I make the best turkey ever, and she's never had my turkey because I based mine in Burgundy wine. You know? So, anyway, we're having what was going to turn out to just be 4 people, and maybe those other 2 couldn't show up because he was sick, is now turning into, you know, dinner at the Salvation Army or whatever, you know, with all these people. You know what I hate about Thanksgiving, though? I mean, I love Thanksgiving. What? It's my favorite holiday. Because
really?
Because there's no religion involved in it, you know. It's just there's no stress of anything. You don't have to go out and buy presents. You don't have to have shattered expectations. You know, it's just make a turkey, eat. If it's just me and girlfriend, fine. We make a turkey, we eat. If it's a bunch of people, we make a turkey. Everybody eats, but there's nothing about it that involves pressure except to get the turkey made, which is the easiest thing in the world to cook. And then you tell everybody else to bring the side dishes, and you don't have to do the yams and you know. But I mean, it's just you know, I hate Christmas. I just hate fucking Christmas.
Christmas is the worst. Yeah.
You know, and I'm not too terribly fond of New Year either. You know. Sometimes we just invite a bunch of people over that we know We used to invite Shecky and our friend Adrian and her boyfriend. And Shecky can't come this year because Shecky, this is so effete, is going to be in Antarctica. So,
wow, for what?
He's taking a trip to Antarctica. So it's a trip that goes along down around Tierra del Fuego and so on and so on, and then it goes out to Antarctica where you get off for a day or so, you know. And
That's pretty adventuresome.
I guess, you know. And it's costing him a fucking fortune. But he just, he loves taking these exotic trips places. He went to, I was jealous. He went to, where was Darwin? The Galapagos. He went to the Galapagos Islands. And that's a hard one to go to because they only allow so many people in at a time so that they don't ruin the environment. So you have to.
People are so good. People ruin everything they go to.
Now I was doing my crossword puzzle the other day. Okay.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, I mean, I every time I'm on the toilet, I do a crossword puzzle. I have the New York Times, and I go back and back and back. I did all the Mondays ever. Okay. Now I'm going back.
Mondays are easy.
I'm doing all the Tuesdays. And when I'm through with that, which will be in another year or so, I will do all the Wednesdays. You know, I have done whole weeks. I mean, I've gotten through whole weeks, and maybe not the Sunday. The Sunday is it's too big. You know,
I don't like that. It's not necessarily hard. It's just too big. I like the Saturday one.
Yeah, the Saturday one's supposedly the hardest. Monday's is the easiest.
Monday's the easiest. Then Wednesday they start to get a little challenging, and Thursday and Friday are pretty hard, and Saturday's the worst.
Yeah, I've actually gotten through Saturday. I decided to do one whole week once, and I did it, but it took forever. Because
it takes me like 2 hours to do the Saturday one. I think Clinton can do those in like 10 minutes or something.
Jon Stewart used to do do it every day. I think he said in ink, and he would do it in 30 minutes or under. No matter which one it was. But you know what part of it is? You have to get to know the logic of the person doing the crossword. Okay? I'm trying to remember they'll either be one guy will be a punster, another guy will. Sometimes they will always lead you in the wrong direction,
or sometimes they'll have a theme and.
Yeah. So but I find it challenging, and then as I go back, sometimes they change the guy who writes them, and so the logic changes. And you have to get into a whole different logic. So
yeah, there was one a couple of weeks ago. This guy just had a totally different way of thinking than I do, and he was so hard I couldn't get that one at all.
Yeah. So but I think it's the only good thing about the New York Times is the fucking crossword puzzle.
That's all that's left.
There was a documentary about it, by the way.
There was Will Shortz, right?
About Will Shortz, who is the editor, is the editor of the crossword puzzles, and they hold these crossword puzzle competitions, where people have to actually fill them out on big boards, as they're going along. It is. I think it is maybe the smartest game ever invented. And I include chess in that. Well, because your knowledge has to be vast.
That's true. You know who loved crosswords? Merv Griffin, and he was always trying to come up with a game show that he could incorporate crosswords, and I don't think he ever quite got it.
I don't think you could. I mean, because it's just too extensive, I think he did try crosswords once. I think he did. I seem to remember
He may have tried, but it didn't.
It was
didn't work
terrible
well.
show. Terrible show. Didn't work. No, didn't work. Which is amazing to me because you would think you could come up with something like that. But, crosswords are very, very interesting. Whoever invented that whole concept? I mean, they're not that old. They only go back to the late 1800s, maybe early 1900s.
Yeah, I think the New York Times had their first one about 100 years ago.
Yeah. So they're pretty and they're tough and you got to be smart to do them. It keeps my brain going because my brain is going, so it keeps my brain.
Oh, me too. And supposedly this is good for us. That's why I keep doing them.
It keeps it active. It's funny. I'm having the biggest problem with my memory now is, and it drives me nuts. And it's the same thing with the girlfriend. She has the same problem. We can't name actors anymore. Wasn't he the guy who was in that thing? And yeah, which thing was that?
Uh-huh.
The thing that was the thing. Oh, that thing. Oh, okay. We in other words, we have no real memory, and yet I can come up with some names that I go, how do I know that name? How did I remember that name? But I did. So, amazing to me. Sometimes I can come up with old actresses and things like that. Actresses from silent films. Here's one for you. Bet you never heard of her. Louise Fazenda.
Have not heard of her.
See, right? How did I just remember Louise Fazenda? And I bet if I had Shecky here, he would tell me every film that Louise Fazenda ever made.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's
he a genius?
I don't know that we call these things. You say, "Oh, is he a genius?" No, he's very knowledgeable in a field, but I don't know if he's a genius about it. It's just that he was so involved with it that he culled every bit of information he could about that subject. So, is that genius, or is that being studious, or whatever? I don't know that it fits that category. I mean, he's very smart. I'm not going to deny that. He's a very bright guy. But when you say, is he a genius? No, I think maybe he's a savant.
Okay.
That's
the difference, yeah.
And then again, I'll tell you, there is a certain thing that happens, and I don't know why it happens, where you suddenly gain information about a subject you never thought you gained information for. I'll give you an example. I was doing an interview one day with a guy who wrote a book about Western villains, okay? Bad guys, people who rob trains, shit like that. Mm-hmm. And he started talking about it, and I started naming names. And he said, boy, you know a lot about this subject. And I then sat there for a moment and pondered, why? I never studied it. It seemed to be that sometimes you go through life and there are certain things that, I don't know, you just pick up on. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you were always kind of fascinated by crime.
Was I always fascinated by crime?
Yeah, you remember we'd always talk about serial killers and stuff, and you always knew a lot about them. And
mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, what happened was I never had any big thing about the Old West or whatever, but I think that every time I came upon something in the Old West, it stuck in my brain. It was like glue. And so there I was naming these Wild West bad guys to him. And so what about Black Bart? And what about, so-and-so and so-and-so? And he's going, boy, you know a lot about this subject. And I went, I don't know where I got it from. I have no idea where I got it from. And it's true. I had no idea where I got it from. It just.
You could be a savant.
No, I think that there are things that you don't realize interest you that interest you. Okay? Now, I mean, you're like, let me ask you, do you think, I mean, you're not dumb, but when do you think you're particularly a genius?
No, not. I think I've read there's intelligence. There's like 7 different types of intelligence, and you can be smart in one of those areas and totally an idiot in the other. And I sometimes just feel like I'm really stupid in some areas.
Like, for instance, watch this with Larry. We were in our lawyer's office yesterday, and we had to remember when we had a meeting where we signed the lease, and it was on June 6th, 2011. And I said that was a Sunday because the office was empty. Well, it wasn't a Sunday. So what day was it, Larry? What day of the week?
June 6th, 2011 should have been a Thursday.
No.
Oh, I'm off. I'm not good after about 2000.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
It was. Let's see. I can go back this way. Let's see. June. So 11 and 728 would have been 83. So it would have been a Monday.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. See, now, is that genius, or is that being a savant, or what is it that comes from? Or do you just have a method?
Yeah, I remember June 6th, 83 was a Monday, because the calendar's always the same every 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to look at 1983.
Oh, I see. So if you go to 83, you can figure it out for what it was. Oh, every 28 years, the calendar is the same.
Yeah, see, it'll repeat before that, but it's definitely the same every 28 years. Which, like we recently, November 22nd, when Kennedy got shot, that was 56 years ago. So that's 2/28, and that was a Friday. So.
It was a Friday. Yeah, it was a Friday, wasn't it? Well, that a lot of people might remember, you know. So I mean, so the question is Shecky a genius? I don't know that he's a genius, but he has
maybe just really smart.
He has an area of interest where he knows everything about it. You know,
don't geniuses have to be? God, I was reading about Bobby Fischer last night, the chess guy who was just sounded totally insane in his personal life. But
Bobby Fischer, yeah, he wasn't he?
Just wildly anti-Semitic.
Oh, really? Oh.
Even though he is Jewish.
A self-loathing Jew.
Oh, it's just, if you go look him up on Wiki. I kind of heard about that before, but I didn't know how bad it was. It was just incredible.
Yeah. Wow.
But I've never learned I have no idea how to play chess, and I think that takes a real type of intelligence to do that.
Well, that's a skill, though. That's a skill. There is a certain memory factor involved in that you remember gambits that were done in other games. Chess is something where you study it. If you're going to be a big chess master, you study how other people played it. And you study particularly brilliant moves that somebody made. So you then can refer to those when you're playing the game yourself.
And you probably have to, don't you have to look forward and be mindful of every potential move the other guy makes?
Yeah.
It's be a lot to carry in your head.
Right. So I mean, But I mean, I'm trying to think if it's a skill. Like, for instance, people say baseball. Oh, he's a good athlete. Well, baseball as opposed to football, and the reason I don't like football, football is just brute force. There's no talent involved in it. Only the ability to take your bulk and hurl it down a field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I always said with baseball, what I loved about it is baseball's a skill. You know, you don't just play baseball because you're big and heavy. You don't play baseball because you necessarily can run fast. You're good at baseball because you're good at the skill. You can take that, somebody throws a ball at you, and you can hit it really far, you know. Based upon
And
your...
supposedly the hardest thing to do in any sport is hit a baseball.
Is it really?
Yeah.
For me, it was. I don't think I ever hit one in my life. You used to go to the batting.
Yeah, well, you got a round ball and a kind of a round bat, and it comes at different speeds, and it's a lot going on.
That's why when girls play it, and we used to play it in school, we used to play softball because softballs were large. They were easier to hit.
And slow.
But I could never hit a baseball. They throw it at me, and I'd flinch. That's what would happen. You know.
Surprisingly enough, I was actually a very good hitter. Not a good fielder.
Well,
but
you went to the batting cages, if I remember.
Yeah, I could hit 90-mile-an-hour pitching. So.
Really?
Yeah.
And how often would you go to the batting? Do you still go?
No, I stopped going when we were back in the radio. But I used to do it then, and I was. Remember, I was pretty good.
Yeah.
Not to brag, but I was a horrible fielder in baseball. So. Mm-hmm. And a slow runner.
Yeah. I could never pitch either. You know.
No, I couldn't. That takes that'll burn your arm out.
Yeah, but I mean, I always I was always not a fan of baseball. By the way, that's another area in which I have a certain expertise is baseball, and
really?
I've never been a big. I never followed baseball. You know, some people follow baseball. Shecky listens to every Yankees game. Okay, that's following baseball. I don't follow baseball, but somehow I absorbed all these little facts about the history of baseball.
Really? Well, I loved it. It surprised me. I didn't think you liked it. I loved it as a kid. I don't like sports anymore, but I can name every World Series result for the last 100 years.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Who won in 1913?
Last 100 years. We got to go start at 1919.
Oh, okay. All right. Who won in 1923?
1923 was the first year the Yankees beat the New York Giants.
How about 1924?
Washington Senators beat the Giants.
How about 1943?
1943, Yankees beat the Cardinals. 4 games to 1.
You know something? We're all probably right now going, wow. But the fact of the matter is, you could be lying through your fucking teeth. And I wouldn't know.
Or you could.
I wouldn't know the difference. Okay, so I'm going to look it up on, let me see here. Let me pick a year. the year I was born, 1939. Oops.
1939.
Well, don't say it yet. 1939 World Series.
The Yankees swept Cincinnati.
Let's see here. And the answer is 1939 World Series, New York Yankees against the Cincinnati Reds. Was that what you said?
Yes, 4-0.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Cincinnati Reds season update to a World Series, but it's like, where is it? Okay. Cincinnati Reds, New York Yankees. Game. Who won? Do you know who won Game 3?
I don't know who the pitcher was.
No, the team.
Oh, the Yankees won all games, all 4.
No, yes, they did. Yes, they did. Mm-hmm. Yep, 4 in a row. Wow. You knew that 4 in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. Then let's go to World Series, 1940.
1940, Cincinnati beat Detroit 4-3.
Jeez almighty, where does that come from, Larry?
When I was a kid, I loved baseball so much. I grew up in Cincinnati, and like in 1965, when I was a young kid and really into baseball, at the end of the season, I could have given you the score of all 162 games for the Reds.
And is this because you?
And I would have detailed information on every game, and now I can't remember any game. So,
wow. Still, I mean, this is fantastic.
But I can't remember all the World Series from 1919 on. So.
Okay, wait a minute. Who won this year?
This year, let's see, the Washington Nationals.
Wow.
Beat Houston.
You're amazing. You're just amazing. I just, it's Rain Man, ladies and gentlemen.
Rain Man.
Everybody loves Rain Man. Okay. Anyway.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I read the real Rain Man knew every zip code in America.
Wow. Well, we'll test you on more stuff next time we talk to you. Have a happy Thanksgiving, Larry.
You have a good bird, buddy.
Bye.
5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It is Alex Bennett, and we are here for now. Life's too short. Anyway, I'll talk about that later. Let me see here. Let me go do the... where is it? Come on, the Skype. There we go. Here comes the Skype. Yeah, I was listening to Damien. I don't know why he's having trouble getting panels together, why he feels he has to call people. I don't understand why that problem with him exists, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm turning on the what do you call it? The Skype. What do you call it? The Skype. And waiting for your calls. Oh, wait a minute. Let me turn that on back there. Where is that? There we go. It's the on the air sign. It says we're on the air officially. And now we'll just wait for people to call. Okay. Here comes Phil Meyer. Okay, Phil. Let me see here. We got to, and he's already, there we go. He's already got a spot from last week that didn't change because it didn't change. Hello, Phil.
Hey, how you doing? I reserved that spot.
Yeah. It's the center square.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, here comes Jeff Stein. Okay, so we go here, and then we will put him. I'm going to put him on top here. Well, hey, turn it off. Turn it off.
We go here, and then we will put him. I'm going to put him on top here.
Close your.
Turn it off. Turn it off.
What do you call it?
Here, and then we will put him up. Put him on top here.
Just kill your browser. Kill the browser.
Yeah, that's it. The browser. I was looking for the word. I couldn't remember.
Kill the browser.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse. I can't remember words either.
Just kill the browser.
Shut up.
Can you? Well, shut up. You're okay
That's his
now.
way of saying quiet.
You're okay now. You're okay now. Let me see here. Let me put. What?
Yeah.
We lost him.
Yeah.
Oh boy. This is frustrating at best.
Well, he may, I don't know if he uses the Skype through the browser. If you turn the browser off, do you lose the Skype?
Yeah, that would be true.
Yeah, so he probably turned the browser off, and that was that.
Yeah. Well,
You going to talk about your test?
Yeah, I will.
All right. I hope it was positive.
No.
But, I'll wait till No, I'll wait till you're ready.
Mm-hmm. I'm waiting for more people to call, but this week, we're only doing 2 days this week.
Yeah.
Probably I should have done what Damien did. He's just taking the whole damn week off,
Yeah.
Here comes Tony. Let me see here. Tony.
Oh, I am disgusted.
What?
Wait until I got to tell you.
Turn your browser off, Tony.
I'll tell you when you're ready.
We're getting an echo from you.
Oh, can you hear me better?
No. There's some you got. I don't know. You've got something up. I don't know what.
I think it's the browser.
I give up.
You want me to call back?
No.
Just turn your browser off.
Is your browser on?
No.
It isn't.
Really?
Wait a minute. Let me see here. I've got to. No. Damn it! I've got to.
Turn the pot down. Turn it back up. See if that's it.
Let me see here. Jeff Stein. Here we go. Now let me put Sibby Itty in there. Hold on a second. First of all, let me put Jeff Stein in there. Okay, Jeff always gets it on the second thing. And let me see here. We got to go to get Sibby on there. Let me see. What name are you using, Sibby? Oh, there, Sibby Sibs. Okay, there we go. There we are. All right. Yeah, there we go. Hi there, Sibby. How are you?
I'm good. So what did I miss? What was the discussion today?
You haven't missed anything yet. We just started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Tuesdays I normally don't come in, but I'm off, so I thought I might as well join you guys.
Oh yeah, you're at home. Yes, you're at home.
Yeah.
You're not at work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Question: since you interviewed Larry tonight, or for tonight, did he mention his recording session that he's doing in San Francisco? I guess he's making an album.
No, I forgot.
A comedy album.
I forgot to ask him about that.
Yeah, well, he's now advertising that he's doing it on Facebook. So, the word is out there.
Yeah.
If you want to plug it, I think it's the 25th at the Hearth, which is on Gary Street. Let me check and make sure.
Mentioning it on this show isn't going to get him an audience.
Well, you have a lot of San Francisco listeners.
No, I don't.
Well, if you get them 10 or 15 more, that'd be nice.
But I don't.
Well, you got me.
I got you. Lucky me. I got you.
Well, yeah. Hey, I could call Damien's show. I'd be just as happy.
Really?
Because he's a nice guy.
Yeah, but after the first of the year, you can only call him once a week.
Oh, really? He's cutting down?
Yeah.
All right.
And I may be too, for all I know.
Yeah. You should do what makes you happy.
Well, what makes me happy, it's what I might have to do. So,
All right. Let me see if I can find that thing. He's going to be in 3 places, but he's making a comedy album, his first and only. Let me see.
Well, this is fascinating.
All right. Well, somebody could talk while I'm looking.
Oh, I do twice as much as anybody else. Not on purpose, but it works that way.
What do you mean? What?
I have to call twice to get it right.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I don't know what your problem is.
I don't know either.
Do you use your browser to go on to onto Skype, or do you use the Skype app?
I go right through Skype.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. So
much for that.
Yeah. So you had your browser open. Obviously, that's where the sound was coming from.
Yeah.
What do you use for your browser?
I have an Apple Air.
Oh, so you probably use Safari.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can usually turn off the sound on that particular tab, But just, kill that tab or whatever. Just make sure it's not on when you call. But you can always get it right the second time, so.
Well, okay.
No harm, no foul.
Well, it's December 27th at the Hearth in San Francisco, 28th at Sally Tomatoes in Rohnert Park, and the 29th at the Setup Stand-Up Comedy in San Francisco. So he's got a 3 days. I guess he's trying to record an album.
Yeah. Okay, that means a lot to all the people in Omaha. Yes.
Well, you just spent a half hour talking to the guy.
Yeah.
And
apparently he didn't care enough about it to mention it.
Well, maybe he's too civil to, maybe you should have mentioned it. And you're the interviewer.
I forgot about it.
All right. I'm reminding you.
I have other things on my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Jeff.
How is your post-surgical results?
Oh, yeah.
I have prostate cancer.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Did they give you a Gleason score?
Yep.
What was it?
20.
20?
No.
I was going to say, that's kind of low.
Did he ask for change?
It's a 7.
A 7. So
Yeah,
4-3 or 3-4?
Well, it was, there were, let's see here. I don't know. He took 12 cores, but there were only 6 mentioned. Mm-hmm. And of those, 4 were 3-4s and 2 were 4-3s.
Okay, wow. So one's a little. Is that common?
It's just over the line. That's what I had. But my PSA went up really high for a little while, and it was a infection. But, they got all concerned, and I said, I just rip it out, and I'm done with it.
Yeah, well, anyway. So
I don't know that I would have ripped it out again.
So the next step for me is radiation. So, yeah.
All right.
And I've been looking at all the radiation options, and the one that I'm going for probably will be the cyber knife, because it's only 5 treatments, and that's it.
And that's different than the proton stuff?
Proton is the same as the regular.
But it's very directed, and it's only 5 sessions.
Did they tell you about having to put the balloon up your ass?
Oh, shit.
What else is new?
Yeah.
I got one in my heart.
They have to put a balloon up your ass for that.
Is that how they put the stuff in?
No, it's a matter of pushing your rectum in a certain way so that it's out of the way of the beam.
I see.
Oh, shit. That seems uncomfortable.
Yeah. So, yeah, I
go the other way.
I don't want to balloon up my ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go for like the 5 or 6 weeks of 5 days a week for
chemo.
Chemo, not chemo for.
It's radiation.
Radiation. But the cyber knife is just simply 5 sessions of about an hour each.
They never offered me that, so maybe I didn't qualify for it.
Well, I mean, it isn't a matter of qualifying or not qualifying for it. It's another form of radiation. And it has the least side effects and so on. So that's what I'm going to go for. My doctor, I said to him, is this going to kill me? And he said, no. He said, in fact, don't even worry about it when you go to sleep.
Oh, that's good.
You got it early enough.
He said, this is, he said, I'm sure it hasn't spread. He said, well, we'll look to see to make sure, but we're sure it hasn't. I'm sure it hasn't spread. And he said, the radiation will take care of the whole thing.
Did he say why he couldn't feel the tumor?
It's because there isn't one.
Oh, it's just some cells.
Yeah. Yeah. I obviously do not have a tumor in there. So.
That's good.
Whatever. As he put it to me, he said, no, it's not going to kill you. It's just going to be mildly annoying.
Oh, all right.
Whatever that means.
At least they had the technology to take care of you. I wonder if this was 30 years ago, they may not.
30 years ago, it
might have been a death sentence.
Listen, if I do nothing about it, nothing, something else might kill me first anyway. This is just making sure that because I have a slightly aggressive prostate cancer, because a 7 is slightly aggressive, although on the one side, the 3-4s, as they say, are, what can we call it, are not dangerous. They're almost like having a 6, and then the 4-3s, the 2 4-3s are a little more aggressive, okay? And could become what?
When I had a biopsy done, it was a 6. When they did the operation and removed the tumor and then did a biopsy on the tumor, it was a 7.
It was a 7.
Yeah. So either it started to, get more aggressive between biopsy and
I hate to say this to you, but I think that you probably shouldn't have had that thing yanked.
Yeah, but I just wasn't going to take any chances.
Well, there are some people.
I'm younger than you.
Look. I mean, I could say that right now too. Just yank it, and then I don't have to worry about anything.
You don't want to go through it. You're already almost 80, and at your age, it's going to be extremely slow growing, even if it is a little more aggressive.
Yeah. Well, they're sending me to an oncologist, and we will go through the. He said he believes in the. Excuse me, I got two Kevins here, and I only want one Kevin. Hold on a second. Well, we do love you, Kevin. We'll make one of you disappear. Okay. But I said to him, "Is this going to kill me?" He said, "No way." He said, it's going to be mildly annoying to take care of it. He said, "But once we do," he said, "you'll probably live. It probably won't come back for another 10 years."
Oh, that's good.
He said, "And when it does, at that time, we'll give you the hormones. If you're alive by then." But they're going to give me the hormones anyway, he said, because before doing the radiation, they find that doing the hormones for a couple of weeks kind of makes the radiation work better. And the hormones will give me hot flashes. And I'll probably
then maybe you'll want to be a woman.
And I'll probably start crying uncontrollably here on the air. But when I go, when I go through the radiation therapy, I think I'm going to take a couple of weeks off here because it's spread out. I think it's spread out over 2 weeks, and it isn't. You're just fatigued. That's really the worst part of it. And I'm not afraid of dying. I just don't want to have to go through this shit.
There's better things to do.
Yeah, and then I got not this week, not next week, but the week afterwards. I'll be off on Tuesday and Wednesday of that week because we have the trial.
Really? Yeah. So they set a date.
What do you mean? It's been set for a long time.
Oh, I thought they kept postponing.
They postponed, and then this was the reset date, and. We just went and met with the lawyer yesterday, and we gave him everything, and and we talked to him, and he gave us, started testing us and doing things like that, so that when we get on the stand, we'll be consistent, and it's that I have to look forward to. That maybe I'm looking more not forward to than the radiation therapy.
Did they make an offer to settle yet, or do you think they will?
No. I mean, it's basically the landlords who don't want to settle. Okay?
Really?
Yeah. The landlords are famous for not settling, and if they lose, going to arbitration, which is then another 2 years and another $50,000. And I mean, yesterday I said to my lawyer, I said, what bothers me about all of this is that all we ever did that was wrong is we were looking for an apartment. We didn't do anything else wrong. We simply trusted that the real estate person was not lying to us. We assumed that the guy who was renting to us really had the right to rent this apartment, and none of that was true. And so we got pulled into this whole thing just simply as innocent bystanders. Yeah, bystanders. And I said it has resulted in years of spending a lot of money, years of spending. Wait, what happened there? Oh. Wait a minute, something wrong. Anyway, years of paying out a lot of money to lawyers, years of feeling impermanence, years of just grief over this whole thing. And I said, in the beginning, all we wanted to do was to stay in this apartment. I said, but if anybody asked me now, you're in it for the money, I'd go, I definitely am.
Good.
I said, because at this point, I feel I need some compensation for the grief that we've been put through for not having done anything wrong.
Yep.
And even they would have to admit, we didn't do anything wrong. You know. But yet we'll be made. They'll try to make us look like bad guys in court. You know, in which case I may lose my temper.
No, screw you.
And say, I don't give a fuck if I lose this case. You know, how dare you even question my integrity? You know.
Just remember, if you lose, are you responsible for the other guy's attorney's fees? And if you are, don't lose your temper.
No, because we didn't sue him. Well, we countersued him to defend ourselves, but we didn't sue him. Oh no, we want our attorney's fees. That we want, now, as soon as possible. But the thing is, look what's going to happen. I'm sure what's going to happen is the landlord is going to lose his part of the suit. The guy who rented us the place is going to lose his part of the suit with us, okay? Then the landlord, who's going to have to pay him off so he can pay us off, is going to go into arbitration. And that's another 2 years of just jerking off some more.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this. I'm just sick of it. Somewhere I would like some lawyer, some judge to say, no, none of that shit. And then, when it goes to arbitration, it goes to 5 judges instead of 1.
Really?
Yeah. So this judge could find everything that he wants to find against the landlords and blah, 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 blah. And the landlords are going, okay, well, we're going to arbitration. Because they got deep pockets.
Well, I guess your lease is not valid. So if there was, I don't know if you had an arbitration clause in that.
Well, if the
lease is not valid, it doesn't matter.
The lease was valid if in fact he had the right to give a lease, but he didn't, so it wasn't valid.
Right.
What it is that what we signed was a lease. What he wasn't able to give us was a lease. So he gave us a lease, and we signed it. And the woman who's probably going to testify on the landlord's behalf is going to be the realtor, and she signed it as the witness and as the guarantor of the thing.
So she has insurance too, errors and omissions. So
what do you mean she has insurance?
A realtor has insurance called errors and omissions insurance, and when someone is wronged and she puts her name on that lease, she may be culpable. Your attorney didn't mention that?
No, we didn't get that far. We didn't get that far.
Okay, because you might want to.
Maybe
should have sued her.
Yeah, sure. We want to spend another $50,000 on a lawyer.
Well, she has insurance.
No, but so she has. How do you know she has fucking insurance?
All realtors have errors and omissions insurance.
Not necessarily. She is, I don't think, a full-time employee of Halstead Realty. Okay, she's like a free agent.
Yeah.
So maybe she doesn't have it. You don't know, Phil.
Yeah.
I'm sure, but we said to the lawyer, we said we would love to be able to get her license yanked, and he said, yeah, well, go out and spend another $50,000 on lawyers to do that.
How much justice can you afford?
Yeah, how much? Well, here's the part of it all, is that for us to collect even the lawyer's fees, we can't have this landlord go to arbitration. I mean, once he loses in arbitration, he's going to lose a lot, because he will have taken this further than he should have. But I mean, I just consider the whole thing a nuisance. And the big mistake that this guy who rented to us made is by trying to sue us or involve us in the situation. Because we went to a lawyer. We didn't know we had any rights. We were already looking for another apartment. We figured we didn't have any rights. So finally we went to this one lawyer, and the lawyer said, oh, this is illusory tenancy. You got a case.
Tony's basement is available. He moved upstairs.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But, an illusory tenancy is, it's triple damages, so we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Hey, did you watch that Sacha Baron Cohen video I sent you?
Yes.
I thought it was very interesting, his take on Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing. I had too many other things on my mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get he was given an award at the ADL, which is the
Anti-Defamation
League,
mm-hmm.
And he gave an interesting acceptance speech, which kind of dealt with the way the media, the social media, is dealing with lies and allowing them to perpetrate, and saying that he doesn't believe that it's a First Amendment right for them to advertise things that aren't vetted and don't know that they're right. I guess other news outlets vet their stuff.
Here's what's happening, and for whatever you want to say, he's not telling us anything we don't already know. The problem is that news has become a money-making operation. It's a profit center for the networks, okay? And that being said, they're doing everything they can to make a profit. And if they're going to gin up stories, they're going to gin up stories, And it doesn't. It's if you're expecting it to be the highfalutin news operations that we once had, you're crazy. Even the New York Times, who I consider respectable, and you don't, but I do, is less respectable today because they're fighting for their life to survive, And they can't do that by not presenting something to the public that is going to be of interest to them. So that's the problem,
Well, yeah, what he was also alluding to is that there are certain giants in the social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Google, and that they are just raking in the cash rather than vetting advertisers as well as stories, and he feels that they should put personnel there to vet this stuff that is.
Yeah, but that's not their job.
Because that's what they're saying. But
to begin with, you're trying to align them with being a news organization, and they're not. And they take advertising. Listen, radio stations used to be very careful about what kind of advertising they took. Well, all I know is that a few years ago, I turned on a station here in New York, and they were running ads for men's clubs, strip clubs. So, it's gotten to the point where people will take advertising from anybody as long as they've got the money to pay for the advertising. Yes, Phil.
But what was he really, I understand what he's trying to say, Sacha Baron Cohen, at least the way Phil's explaining it. But on the same token, it's like you said, Alex, and even Phil, in today's day and age with digital media, Facebook, people, you can go on your page right now, Phil, and just put a whole tirade up of make it look like it was an actual piece of article you wrote. And they can't really vet that. This is a guy who basically his whole show premise is making up false little clips. He's living in a bubble. He thinks they're going to be able to take every little piece of information
okay for him to
and
be
put it
false.
under a microscope.
It's okay for him to be false, but not for Facebook.
Well, he says it's under the ruse of comedy. He was actually being himself in this.
I understand that, but he's trying to think he's smarter than what he is, and you cannot control Facebook, Phil. You can go on right now, and I can.
Let me ask you this,
Tony, and you can sway people.
How come I see all these people that wind up in Facebook jail for posts that they do? They're in jail for 30 days.
If you put up profanity, you can get taken down. So they do have things that they have ramifications for.
No, these are right-leaning people that are posting all sorts of pro-Trump crap and pro this and pro that and conspiracy theories, but usually it's the right wing. Look at
I don't know
Alex
if it's
Jones.
the right wing or the left wing. I'm not going to label it.
Alex Jones, who is a entertainer and a conspiracy theorist, puts up information, and he's off of Facebook. He's off of YouTube.
But let me ask you this question, Phil. You don't think he has sycophants that are posting for him?
Probably, but the whole thing
then there
is,
you go. There's always a way around the system.
Yeah, but his posts are not available on YouTube.
Yeah, his posts, but then he has his people that do it for him.
Well, but doesn't matter. His posts are
yes, it does, because his message is still getting out there.
Sibby seems to agree, or
yeah, I think Phil is right. I think Phil is right. Tony, Phil is right about this.
You don't think Alex Jones has people out there spreading his word, even if he's not doing it in his name?
He might have it, but the credibility, coming from his own mouth or from his own piece is different from someone posing for him. So that's solving.
Well, I also think,
but if they're posing for him, it still helps.
Let me also say about a guy like Alex Jones. I mean, I think I was the first one to defend his right to be on YouTube and to be on Facebook and to be on all these social media platforms, even though everything he says is a fucking outright lie.
Yeah.
Because as long as you're going to open yourself and say this is an electronic Hyde Park where anybody can get up on a speaker's box and say anything he wants to say, you don't then make an exception of Alex Jones.
No.
So is my argument correct that they are able to vet, but they choose to selectively vet?
If I were running Facebook, I would not have taken Alex Jones off. I would have hated every minute that Alex Jones was using my platform for what he was doing, because it was lying and it was horrible and it was anti-Semitic and it was racist and it was everything else. But I feel that if I say all comers, come on, post stuff on Facebook, then I've got to say everybody post on Facebook, even if I disagree with you, and even if I know you're lying. And that's where they did not educate the public by saying not everything you're going to see on Facebook is true. Check the facts,
That's true. I mean,
well,
I don't know. It's a sticky situation. Because I'm agreeing with you, Alex. I don't think it's, they want to that's the censorship. That's the thing. If we were paying for it, they'd be able to do a little more. I don't know. How do you regulate it? That's what they're afraid of.
I don't think they're responsible for censoring. But I also feel that they really, when it comes to things of morality, they do censor, and I find that objectionable as well. I think if somebody wants to show his wife blowing him on Facebook, he has the right to do it.
Yeah, I mean, watch at your own risk. I agree with you. I think when you start censoring things, you're going down a bad path.
Yeah. So now you're making judgmental choices as to who has access to your platform and who doesn't. And that is wrong if you're acting like, in the beginning, you wanted all comers. You wanted everybody who wanted to use
True.
it.
You know what he could be judgmental, Alex, on? Let's say if you were running Facebook, you owned a part of it, and I said, oh, Alex, these people want to sell ads on your page. Then you could tell me, Tony, I don't want to take that ad. I don't want to take that money. You don't have to let people know it. You can turn it down. That's a different story. Like, say if we didn't want to run.
Yeah,
he
doesn't have to take any ad that comes along. I used to have a policy with my programs that I would never say who could not advertise on my show. And the reason for that being that I felt that I didn't, how did I exactly come about that? That I have opinions, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to censor who advertises. As long as their advertising is truthful, in other words, it isn't offering a product that doesn't do what it says. Okay. That's a no-no. If you've got a product that's that or it's harmful to people, then I don't want to take that advertising. But as an example, the Republican Party decided at one point that it would be a good idea to buy time on my show during an election because I had all these liberals whose minds they might change. And I didn't say I don't want that advertising on my show. I just said I don't want to do a live read for them. I don't want to personally endorse it, but they have the right to advertise on my show.
And I think gold.
Gold, well, no.
You didn't like the gold, remember?
I didn't like gold, and I'll tell you why. Because I felt that it was lying to the audience. It was bilking the audience financially. And that I just did not want gold on my show. I told them they could advertise on my show. I didn't stop them from.
You wouldn't do a live read?
I wouldn't do a live read for them. Okay. And they wanted a live read out of me. And I wasn't going to do it because I said I just don't believe in gold the way you're selling it or the way you're couching it. You know, if you want me to go on the air and say, hey, buy gold, you'll be pouring money down the drain, then I'll do it. You know, but I don't think you want me to do that.
And I kind of see what you're saying, Alex. Because say if somebody listens to your show, Golf, but say I listen to it, Alex says gold is really good. He said it.
Well, if
I
put
a
lot of my
$1,000 into it, and I lose all that money, you might feel bad saying, hey, you know what? You said it was good.
In the days people can be misjudged in the days in San Francisco, and I used to do a lot of live reads, which my live reads were very valuable. There were at least 2 an hour, and I used to make $50 a read. So count that up. I made $400 a day just doing live commercials, okay? And I said that there are two things. Number one, I want to see if it's a product, I want to see the product. Don't have to give me a free one, I just want to see the product. I want to be able to use it and make sure it does what they say it does, okay? And the product can't hurt anybody. And when it came to gold, I felt that hurt people. You know, it was making them spend their money on a wrong premise, and they could lose their money, lose their shirts on it, and I wasn't about ready to be part of that. Tom Hartman was.
Oh, yeah. Remember I used to listen, when you said that, I used to listen to his show sometimes. He ran that like crazy.
Yeah, he used to have that.
Shit.
Yeah. And, you know, but when I was doing all those live spots in San Francisco, I had rules, you know. And that I would not do it. You know, if they wanted to run a commercial on my show, that's not my business. That's the station's business. If they want me to do a live ad, there was another reason why. There was a more selfish reason. When I would do live reads, I would really sell product. I sold more Vermont teddy bears on my show than anybody in this country, including Howard Stern. He was number 2. I was number 1 just in my one market of selling Vermont teddy bears.
I got a box of those son of a bitches because of you.
Oh, really?
I got one too.
Thank you very much, you see. And
I got one too, like way back.
Yeah.
I would say
and
more than 10 years ago.
I have a whole giant box of them because they would keep sending me Vermont teddy bears. There they are.
I'm proud to say I never bought one.
Yeah.
Although I used to get my kids Steiff teddy bears. Yeah. Steiff is this German company. I think it was the original teddy bear company that.
Well, the Vermont Teddy Bear Company was run by a guy who was he's a sweet man, just an absolute like Willy Wonka, you know that way. Yeah. And I love the guy, I really love the guy, and they sold the company, but. And if you go up to Burlington, where I visit my friends, we drive right by the Vermont Teddy Bear Factory. Yeah. But anyway,
they were good.
But I sold those. They were terrific. I sold those Vermont Teddy Bears like crazy. And my feeling was, hey, if I run an ad for somebody just because I want to make some money off of running a live read, and their product sucks and somebody gets one and it's terrible, then that's going to affect my reputation doing live pitches. In other words, I want people to know that, hey, you bought the Vermont Teddy Bear, you liked them, right, Kevin?
Yep.
So if
my wife has a whole box of them.
So if I'm telling you now, I can't remember some of the other advertisers I had to go buy another product, You believe me the next
You
time.
had a flower, not Balducci. It was
Pro Flowers.
No. This was local flower. Started with a B.
Yeah.
Italian name.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
And Balducci or something like that.
Yeah.
DeLuca?
No. It started with a B.
And they were very good flower company. But when I got to Sirius, they said, "Would you do pro flowers?" Because all over the country, guys were doing live pro flower ads.
Yeah.
So I said, "Okay," and they said they want to send you some, and I said, "Oh, okay, fine." And they sent me some, and I took them home, and within a day they were dead.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I said to the people at Sirius, I said, I ain't going to do a live read for them. And they said, why? I said, because their flowers die. They die really fast.
Yeah, they come in a box and they're laying there half dead already.
Yeah.
They're packed in their own coffin.
I ordered them once and I didn't like them.
They're packed in their own coffin.
Yeah, that's right.
I just wouldn't. I wouldn't do it. I just didn't. I didn't. I had to be careful about who I would do ads for. And it's serious. They got really mad at me because I wouldn't do pro flowers. But I said I can't do it. I said they suck. I brought them home to my wife. Said, look, dear, what I got you pro flowers. And the next day they're dead, and I'm in the shit house. I said, I don't want that to happen to anybody else. Not on my watch.
Podesta Balducci.
But no, Podesta Balducci was a very famous one. But this was
okay. Then it was a guy.
Yeah, it was a guy.
Right.
No, I'm trying to remember his name now. God damn it! I wish Bubbles were here right now. Yeah. He'd remember. It was
Butter.
Huh? Butter. Yes, butterflowers. No, it was. I know his name. Jeez Almighty! I'll be lying down tonight, and all of a sudden,
I'm sorry.
I
forget
come to myself now.
Hey, you did that.
I don't know if he's still in business.
Well, let's find out. San Francisco Flowers.
Gotta love the internet.
Cisco Flowers.
Oh, I love this. I can't live without it.
San Francisco Flowers. Let's see here. Same day floral delivery. Flower Mart, Farm Girl. 10 best flower deliveries in San Francisco. Let me see here.
Was that the Live 105 days?
Yeah.
It might have been. Yeah.
Well, come on. This isn't. There we go. Let's see. Blue Man.
Yachi. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was, but.
Yeah, we'll spend the whole rest of the show trying to remember the name of the.
Yeah, so here I wanted to talk about the internet and the First Amendment and all of these things, and we're looking for a flower shop that doesn't exist anymore.
Let's see here. 9 most beautiful flower shops in San Francisco. Let me see here. Flowers of the Valley.
It started with a B. It was the guy's name.
Yeah, I know. It was the guy's name. And his, oh, God.
Let's see here. I'm on it, too.
We're going to spend the rest of the show trying to come up with this name. Will you come up with it before I die of prostate cancer?
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Brought to you by...
Yeah, if you had a 7, Phil, you should. They probably could have given you radiation.
They offered.
I would have done it.
They told me it was 50 or 55 sessions.
It's more like 40.
Well, that was enough.
Yeah.
I just wanted,
And with the cyber knife, which most hospitals have either the cyber knife or a version of that, because cyber knife is a brand name. Okay.
Yeah.
But they become done so much advertising that hospitals like to say, we have the cyber knife, But I think, like, for instance, where he wants to send me at Mount Sinai, they have some form of it. It's called status something or another. There's a non-brand name for it.
A big part of my decision
Yeah.
was because my prostate was so enlarged. It was like 130 milligrams. I forget what the thing was. A normal one is 30. And at 130, I was carrying around a watermelon, not a prostate. And I was getting up 10 times a night to pee. I just said, I'll kill two birds with one stone. Get the fucker out of there. Get rid of the cancer.
That wasn't
get
a
rid of the
stone,
prostate.
Phil. That was a boulder.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. No, but I mean, because I have 7, and that's considered intermediate.
Yeah.
Gleason
At the moment.
score. Yeah, 2 of them were the high kind of Gleasons. The other one was the low kind of 7s, which is closer to a 6. So my doctor, I said, what would you do? What would you have me do? And he said, I'd have you do the radiation. He said, and there are many ways of doing it. He said, and then he mentioned the cyberknife thing, and he said, most people would like to do that instead of going for all those, 5 weeks,
Sessions.
6 weeks of 5 days a week, going for like a week, 5 days, and it's over. It's done.
Well, people have told me that the radiation, maybe not the cyberknife, because I don't know anything about that, but the radiation, there's other side effects because it damages other
that's
tissues.
why the cyberknife is so much better.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
And,
It goes directly to the prostate. It doesn't affect the bowels. It doesn't affect the bladder. It doesn't affect any of that.
Yeah. Well, they didn't offer me that. I didn't even know it existed, and I never heard of it until.
Well, listen,
I've heard of it, but I didn't equate it.
Over at Kaiser, they don't know any of those things exist. So.
Well, they don't use a cyberknife. They use a rusty machete.
Yeah. Exactly. What?
You want to laugh, Alex? Can I tell you something? I was going to tell you why I was mad yesterday. I went to my mom's doctor with her, right? Mm-hmm. So the doctor, Mr. Rubin, says, Anthony says, if you want to have your mom, he gave me an ear doctor just to have her ears cleaned, right? It's okay, no problem. He's right in the area, Middle Village. Okay. So my brother says, make the appointment and I'll take you. So I said, all right. So I called him up and the guy says, oh, we don't take Medicare. How can you not take Medicare?
Well, doctors don't have to take Medicare.
There's another one that does down the street from you.
Take Medicare.
Hey, Tony, there's one down the street from you, but he uses a fire hose to clean out the...
But I'm being honest, though. Isn't that a joke? She puts into it her whole life, and they don't even take it.
What kind of doctor... Wait a minute. What kind of doctor was he?
An ear doctor. I have his name. I'm not going to say it. She just has to get it clean.
I mean, if he were something that dealt with old people, you can bet your life he would take Medicare. I've never been to a urologist in my life that doesn't take Medicare. Because if he doesn't, he's out of business.
That's the good thing about Kaiser is that, they once you're in their system, they take you for everything.
Yeah.
You want to listen to this? Then my brother we all go to the same doctor, Stephen Rubin, right? So my brother, and this is no joke, he wanted him to get his ears cleaned because we all went for a test, minor fine. So they wouldn't even take Cigna, the same guy, because I was going to make the appointment the same day. Come on, these guys turn down insurances, Phil. One of these fucking suits in the White House make it mandatory that if you have insurance, they have to take.
I'm going to tell you the reason.
Tony, pay cash and get reimbursed.
I'm going to tell you the reason why they turn down insurance. Okay.
Why?
Because if they are in network with an insurance company, they have to charge what that insurance company says they have to charge for a particular thing. Okay, it's like my dental thing. I only paid $157 the other day to have my tooth filled. Now, normally that would be $400, but my dentist is in network, and so she has to charge what the network, what the insurance says she can charge. Okay, so that's why a lot of them don't take any. They just say, write me a check. Go
That's
get
what I said. If I would have came with money,
and go get the money from your insurance company. I mean, you're insured, right? Your mother's insured, right?
Oh yeah.
And you could go to this doctor.
That's what I said. My brother's a big maker. How much is it?
And then you could pay him out of pocket, and then you could go to your insurance company and say, How much am I going to get back from you? Send me some money back.
That's what I was thinking of doing. I was going to flip it over. I figure we'll try to find somebody in that takes.
But you're not going.
But now we have to go maybe to Brooklyn.
You're not going to get a lot of money.
That's the question. Yeah. So all right. So I'll have to flip it out. Big deal.
Yeah.
But my mother's like, why can't we go right here? Nancy goes to him because this clown, I said, is not taking it. And she doesn't hear that good, really. So I have to walk over to her. But I wanted to go to him. Well, we can't now. Unless I said, we'll go. We'll just have to pay cash. Because he's always going to take the green.
If you go to Brooklyn, they got the best pizza in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Phil,
that's where the best pizza is.
This is why we should have single payer.
So, Phil, do you think my prostate's going to kill me?
What? What's going to kill you think?
Was it bloomers?
Huh?
Bloomers?
What?
No, you said something
about the prostate.
I said, do you think it's going to kill me?
No, it wasn't bloomers.
Nah. You're going to get some.
It was an Italian name.
You won't even see it coming.
Balducci.
Like I said, I get hit by a truck.
Balducci.
Wait a minute. Oh, God. You're close.
Yeah.
You're close. Balducci's? Maybe?
Something like that.
Was there? Maybe it was Balducci's. Yeah.
What's that?
No, Balducci's is a
restaurant?
No, it's a food store here in New York.
Bella Fiora.
No.
We go to Valentino's over here by us for fruit and vegetables. He's old.
Yeah.
It's hard to park.
I mean, I used to know the guy.
Keep talking. I'll just keep looking.
I used to know the guy. You know. He would always send me flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think he might have advertised even a camel.
I might even recognize it when I see it.
Yeah.
Give him a bag of money, like Phil said. Here's your money. Take it.
Here's a bag of money.
Eat it. Take it. Just throw it at him.
Tony.
All right.
Phil didn't answer my question. You think the prostate thing's going to kill me?
No.
Frangipani.
No.
What?
No.
Wait a minute. What'd you say?
Frangipani?
No. No. Yes, Jeff. Yes, Jeff.
I have a recommendation for Tony.
Yeah.
This problem with his mother. Go to that doctor and say, if it was your mother, what would you do?
I should do that.
I send it to an in-network guy.
Blind.
Right?
Give it a little.
Jewish doctor.
You're gonna make it go to Brooklyn.
I don't know if I don't know if that would be the wise thing to do, though.
I'll throw a comic book at him. Here, take this. Bang it over his head. Here, take it. I got 4 more.
Now, Banducci was the guy that owned Enrico's.
Banducci.
So it wasn't Banducci.
No.
Natalini.
No, if we stop trying to think of it, it may waft over me.
It'll just go away. You know?
By the way, folks, in case you just joined us, this is our newest format on this program.
Floraria.
Trying to figure out who the florist was in San Francisco that I used to do ads for.
What's this?
And I used to know his full name, too, because, you know.
Yeah.
I apparently, I mean, I went Flowers, San Francisco, and nothing came up.
Nothing. I'm sure he's out of business or dead.
Yeah,
or
probably.
And I don't know if he's dead. Same day delivery, Flowers and San, Elizabeth Flowers, Farm Girl, Wreath, Urban Flowers, San Francisco Flower Delivery. Who knows? I give up.
Yeah, you're doing the same thing I am now.
Yeah. Flowers by Richard.
Alex Bennett.
What?
Flowers Live 105, and it didn't come up with that.
It really didn't come up with anything. Wait a minute. Kathleen she just said you guys are funny. Well, Kathleen, you're no fucking goddamn good because you could come up with the name of that flower shop. The guy.
Belnachia's.
But
you're
somewhere. Well, oh God!
I'm going for every Italian name I can see.
Well, this format sucks.
Yeah, let's change it.
Jeez Almighty. So today, Trump pardoned the turkey. This is a yearly ritual that I'm getting.
Pardoned the turkey?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah. Yeah.
How can he do that? Doesn't he know that there
down
was
in,
a cabinet member that didn't want the turkey pardoned? And, because guy said he's a gobbler and you can't pardon a gobbler?
He was down in Florida and said bullshit, too.
Yeah.
He cursed?
Let's see here. You guys are funny.
He looks kind of he got older from too. I'm looking at a picture.
Kathleen, who isn't here right now, but is one of the funniest people I know, says, y'all and your flowers, it was called flowerinis.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, wow.
No.
I saw that one. I already said that.
Flowerinis. Oh, boy. God, we always use his full name, too. Hugasian.
That's it. Not a B. Hugasian. That's it.
Not a B.
No,
that is from John Crosby. Yeah, John Crosby. How? Yes.
Oh, geez, and I knew John Crosby down in Burlingame. He runs a funeral parlor.
And it was Harold. It was Harold Hugasian.
Yeah, this Colossus guy also wrote Hugasian.
Now the question is. That's
it.
Hugasian.
Does he?
Harold Hugasian?
Harold.
Is that it?
Yeah. Hugasian. Let's see here. Hugasian. San Francisco
Obituary.
florist. Flower delivery by Hugasian Flowers.
There you go.
In fact, folks, if you don't believe me, I believe I have it here for you. There we wait a minute. Hold on a second. Where do I go here? Screen. Oh well, let me just do this.
It's still in business?
Look at that. Hugasian Flowers.
I'll see it in 30 seconds.
Yeah. It doesn't have an address here, but you know.
Oh yeah.
It says about us. Let's see, what does it say about us? About the company, serves the Bay Area. It doesn't say anything about Harold Hugasian yet, though, here. But
you just put in Hugasian's obituary.
But anyway, this is that's Hugasian Flowers right there, folks.
615 7th Street.
Huh?
So it's 615 7th Street.
Right.
So it was down by the Mart.
Boy,
the flower
leave
mart.
it to my old audience to be able to figure that one out, huh?
Yeah. I don't know where I came up with the B. Balducci. Oh, well, I was probably thinking Podesta Balducci.
Yeah, well, if I had just somehow somebody had said, "Oh, he was Armenian," I would have gone, "Oh yeah, Hugasian."
Yeah. Okay, so you used to read live spots for him.
Okay, now we can go back to my prostate cancer. Okay. So anyway, but thank you very much, Kathleen, for being funny tonight. I know it's hard because of what you're going through at the present time, but it's okay. So anyway, Hugasian Flowers. Oh, God, let me see here. Is there anything else that I want to talk about? Oh, so anyway, so the pardoning of the turkey. Always, every year it bothers me. I don't know why. It just seems like such a stupid thing to do. Right, Sibby? I mean...
Yes, I think it is.
I mean, where you come from, you didn't pardon a turkey, you ate the fucking thing.
No cows.
No cows.
I mean, only the Hindus don't eat cows because there's a reason behind it because, Hindus have more than 10,000 gods. The thing is they believe, when you are a poor man and if you have a cow, you can make, you can get this milk and you sell and you make money and you can feed your family. If you just had a cow, you could actually raise a family out of, the manure you can sell, the milk, the cheese, everything. So that's why it's considered to be like a provider. So they don't want to eat the provider. That's the logic.
In other words, because they do supply other stuff. And so the other stuff that you subsist on.
Yes. Because if you have a cow, your family won't go hungry because it's always, it's always going to provide you something.
Yeah. This is a stretch. But, the Chinese just bought for $600 million, the largest milk producers in Australia, and so they kind of cornered the milk market and all of the brands that they sell in Australia, and and this is just one more step of taking over businesses and spreading their global aspirations.
Yep. They've been doing the whole expansion thing for a long time. Mm-hmm. People don't talk about it, but they have pretty much captured a whole bunch of African countries. They have supplied cheap Chinese goods to them and loaned up a lot of jobs
like they
for
did
the
to
locals.
The States.
Yeah, a lot of jobs for the locals. So they just come up and set up the shop. But the problem is all the upper management, the middle management is all Chinese. It's only the lower level employees they hire the locals. And the locals are never promoted. So there was a big hoo-ha about it, a couple of, I think it's Zimbabwe, if I'm not mistaken, or probably Nigeria. They were complaining about it. They wanted them to leave our country, leave us alone. But, they are so much in debt. They had stuck.
I know a Nigerian prince that writes me all the time and has plenty of money to bet them out of debt.
He does. Bill, we need money. Where do I send it to?
Doesn't that Nigerian prince need money, though? Wasn't that?
No. He's got the money, and if you wire him your bank account numbers, he'll deposit the money in there.
Yeah.
Needs it to make bombs.
So let me ask you, Alex, what do you think about Mike Bloomberg jumping into the race? You've been a New Yorker for a while.
Well, I think I'm not a big fan. Okay, I think he did in his first 2 terms. He did okay as mayor. I think in his 3rd term, he proved the adage: "Don't give a person in New York a 3rd term." Because they run out of ideas, and they kind of take that as a act of bestowing upon them a certain regalness. I
think that's him, and I'll tell you why. Have you listened to some of his commercials? The guy talks like an elitist. Like he is talking in a way that he's part of the intelligentsia, and he is not speaking to the people. He's speaking to his own thing.
If speaking to the people means you have to be dumb and sound like Trump, then I suppose. But no, well, I don't know that I particularly want to vote for somebody who dumbs himself down in order to look good to the people. But
he sounds like an elitist. And he's only going to appeal to New York and California.
Well, he is partially an elitist. He's got a fuckload of money. He could buy and sell Trump about 50 times.
Yeah.
Okay. So with all that money, he is an elitist. But he started out as opposed to Donald Trump with nothing. With nothing. Zero.
Well, and that's exactly the way Steyer is campaigning as well. His latest commercial is the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Steyer's only statement is, "I hate Trump. Don't vote for me."
Yeah, but the commercial I saw tonight was exactly that. It was, I built my Trump is a phony. He's spent all his money. He's left people hanging. He's spent his he's done his casinos and he's bankrupted them all. I've built it from the bottom up. I still got my money, the whole bit. That's what Steyer's building his campaign on.
and Bloomberg's probably will be, I got more of it than he does.
The same thing, exact same thing.
Well, no.
And what's Warren got to say about
Well, no, the point is that if people voted for Trump because they thought he was good with money and that he would handle the finances of this country well, Bloomberg certainly got him beat, Well,
Trump is spending like a drunken sailor. This is true.
He said something bad about
him.
No, it's true. It's not bad.
You forgot. Phil likes drunken sailors because they're the only ones who will blow him. Anyway, go ahead.
But I like Trump. I just don't think Bloomberg's in touch with the people. I don't believe what the words that are coming out of his mouth.
I don't think him entering into this fray enhances the whole thing. On the other hand, who the fuck have the Democrats got? You know, you've got a damaged person in Joe Biden. You've got a somewhat too far to the left Bernie Sanders and too far to the left Elizabeth Warren. So there is a place in all of this.
And Buttigieg is not going to get the black vote.
Well,
he's not going to get any.
And they say that you need the black vote to win the Democratic.
To say that he doesn't have the black vote is to underestimate the black community. I think that it's somewhat racist to think that they're necessarily anti-gay. Yes, they're very church-going, but so is he. You know, he is far more religious, Buttigieg, than any of the other candidates, and that might appeal to some of those black families who otherwise would go, yeah, but he's gay. Well, but he's, he does go to church every Sunday.
Why is he doing so poorly in South Carolina?
Because I don't think I don't think he's worked very hard to win over South Carolina.
Yeah, he might have something up his sleeve to pull out later on, because
I think he's looking to make it in Iowa and Vermont, where he's leading, and once he does that, he can then walk into New Hampshire rather. After that, he can go into all those other states and use that as his cachet. I think Buttigieg has a better shot at winning this election than almost anybody else who's running right now.
Did you hear what Yang said? He says, when he's out in the states campaigning, he's not hearing anything about impeachment. He says people are asking about the economy. They're asking about a number of things, but safety. Impeachment is not on their mind. And I think you have most of these other ones are running against Trump and running for impeachment. And that's it. Supposedly it polled 11 out of 11.
That doesn't matter, Phil. It doesn't matter. What impeachment is doing is damaging the Trump brand.
I don't know. I think it's solidifying his base.
It's starting to make some people have some serious questions about his ethics.
And why did his thing go up 10 points?
What thing?
His not likability,
approval rating.
Approval rating.
His approval rating didn't go up, Phil, unless you want to go believe something like what's that one poll that is always
Rasmussen?
Drudge poll?
Huh?
Rasmussen?
Drudge poll?
Rasmussen.
No.
Yeah.
Rasmussen.
Yeah. I mean, Rasmussen would say he's got like 70% approval rating. Yeah, fine, thank you, Rasmussen.
Well, he's the only one that also said he was going to win the election. So,
It was interesting. I was watching the rally for about 10, nauseating minutes today on Fox.
What rally was that?
It was the one down in Sunrise, Florida, was it, tonight?
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the crowd behind him, and I swear to God, I saw 3 people at least that were there in other crowds. And this one particular black guy, he's got to be being paid to follow him around. He's got glasses on his head. He always wears black voices were for Trump. And then there was another group on the left that said Latino voices for Trump. And then there was another one that said Jesus for Trump. These people must be paid by him to be behind him.
Didn't you? I know you freelance and you do the Santa stuff. You could probably, try to get a job with Rent a Black Guy for Trump.
Well, I do that, with elves and stuff,
Yeah.
Imagine a black.
No, but I mean, I watched
Black
it for a
Santas
few minutes,
for
and
Trump.
I just sat there and watched him, and to see him talk the way he was talking, it was evangelistic.
Really?
It was definitely, and I sat there and I went, now I put him into a Joel Osteen or whatever the hell his name is. Osteen. I took him out of that place and put Joel Osteen in there, and it was exactly the same thing. and it was almost like a cult thing going on. And I'm going, this is happening again. And he just literally he grabs those people's brains and puts them.
Did you order the free Golden Cross?
That's about it. And he's up there talking smack and shit, and there's that Jesus lady sitting behind her laughing when he's saying bullshit, and talking shit up there. And I'm going, this is like watching, pretty soon he's going to be asking for money and everything else. And it was pretty scary watching it.
I get no less than 6 emails a day asking me to donate money to Trump. They haven't seen my name on his birthday card. They haven't,
but you voted for him, so you're going to get that. It comes from the government.
I voted for him and I gave money.
Yeah, well, that's all it takes. But it just looked really evangelistic to me, and I was going, this is scary shit watching him do this, and these people, and every once in a while they would pan to the crowd, and some of them were just sitting there staring at him, and the other ones behind him were all rah.
But you got to understand,
when they panned to the crowd for 2 seconds, and they only did it a couple of times, they were sitting there, stone faced.
That's why he got elected. Because he's able to communicate to these people, whether you agree, whatever you think of those people, those are the ones that are pulling the lever for Trump. And if you don't think that he should talk to those people, that's what's going to get him elected again.
Well, I understand that, Phil, but that's what's scary about it. He's getting into those people's heads.
Those are the same people, Phil. Those are the same people, Phil, who allowed Hitler to get into power and allowed Mussolini to get into power.
I'm trying to stay away from that, Alex. I'm trying to stay away from that, but it sure as hell looks.
Well, you may try to place that equate that or have an equivalency.
No,
but
there's no equivalency, Phil. I'm saying that the reason that Hitler came to power was stupid people.
The tactics worked. He's trying to get elected.
He's using Hitler's tactics.
Well, let me tell you, when it comes to selling,
I mean, what are those rallies? But Hitler rallies that he's holding.
No. There's no equivalency there. He's just doing.
Yes, there's an equivalency
what
there.
It takes to get elected.
No,
I'm telling you, in sales, you have to dance to the music played. If a customer's doing the waltz, you can't do the cha-cha.
But Phil, he's been doing this for 3 years. Why does he have to do it for 3 years?
Because
there's an election period.
He started his re-election the day after he was elected. He said he was.
And that's all he cares about. And that's all he cares about, Phil.
Well, he declared. No, he's doing a smart thing. But if you want him to win, which I do, he's doing what he needs to do.
If you're doing the smart thing, you're doing your job, and then you come back at the end of your job and you say, look what I did here. No, you don't sit out there and talk shit the whole time to try and keep people involved with you.
I don't want to
That's all he's
this
done.
Conversation, but he had to do that because he had so many people trying to say a different narrative about what he was doing. So he tries to get his narrative out, and everyone else is trying to silence him.
The only narrative he's doing is calling people names all day.
Well, maybe that's his style.
Crap
I don't like that. A lot of people don't like it. But I also don't want to dominate this conversation.
All right, yeah, that's what I don't understand.
Let's get Sibby's opinion on this, since he's the other, oddly enough, conservative here, who is kind of a fallen conservative, right?
The thing is, he has 33 to 35% locked in, but you don't get to be president with 35% of the vote. And I'm assuming Democrats have about 40% locked in for whatever. It's just the fight for the 25%, and that's where the whole swing vote comes in. And I do feel that Michael Bloomberg is a good candidate, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel that Joe Biden is damaged goods. At this time, what he should do is, for the good of the country, I'm dropping out because my name is in the whole impeachment thing, and my son. So I want him to come and testify. He should, show that, he's sacrificing his chance for the good of the country.
Well, you want to know something. What's interesting? What's very interesting is Trump did what he did with the Ukraine and with that call to try and sully Biden's reputation. And what he let me finish, Phil. And what he managed to do was sully Biden's reputation just by inference. In other words, because Biden is in the center of this, the questions are being asked, even though what Trump was doing was to try and get those goods on him. Now he doesn't even have to get the goods on him. The smear has been put on Biden, and he's literally bad goods. You know, he can't win. He can't win.
And he brought that up at the rally tonight.
What did he say?
He brought up Biden, and he called him, what about Sleepy Joe? And then what about, he said, I call him, where is Hunter Biden? That's what I call him now. Where is Hunter Biden?
Yeah, well, you know something?
Didn't even need to bring it up.
Here is where Trump is making his very big mistake. Biden is not going to be the nominee of the party.
No.
Okay?
He's
all right.
keying in on it.
So what he's not doing is he's not keying in on just the whole Democratic Party and the whole group. And so
he's making Biden.
If they throw, let's say, Buttigieg at him, what's going to be his defense against Buttigieg?
And that's true. And I think that's a key point, because I think that with the whole impeachment thing, I mean, to me, I don't know that the Democrats didn't step on their own dicks when they had this whole impeachment hearing, and then all of a sudden we had this break, because everybody's going to lose attention on this thing. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden they had this break, and things are going to drop off, and that may be why someone came up with a 10-point approval rating or whatever for Trump, this last poll thing they did. But
yeah,
now that they had all these hearings, and all of a sudden now they're all on a break, and there's Thanksgiving, and everything's going to die off, and then they're going to come back next week or whatever, and everything's going to get started up again, and then all of a sudden they're going to go back to Christmas break, and all this stuff's going to die off. The Democrats may lose a lot of ground doing that, and they may have stepped on their own wieners doing that.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You know, I was reading and following a little bit of Bloomberg, and I think he's running ads in certain key states for the Democrats. And in the ads, as far as I read, he's really pointing the finger of the inadequacies of Trump. Instead of Warren and Bernie, he's helping his Democratic Party. Instead of us trying to say he's a billionaire, she's doing too much class warfare. Bloomberg's not going to win, but he's actually helping them running these anti-Trump ads. Instead of ripping Bloomberg apart, he's not going to beat you, Warren or Sanders. She's too stupid to see this. He's got 2%. He's not going to beat her. Instead of ripping Bloomberg apart, look at the negative ads he's running against Trump, and you should be taking that as a key. How can I make this work for me? Is she that stupid, and Bernie, that they don't see this?
Also, he's exempt.
That's what
from
I don't
the.
He's not the threat. He's hurting Trump.
He can advertise.
Okay, let me say something, Phil, that I'm reading here. Trump tweeted, "Support the impeachment is dropping like a rock, down into the 20s in some polls. And this is where you got your information, by the way, Phil.
Where did I get it?
Should now get down to work and finally improve the USMCA and much more." It turns out that he was not able to quote a single poll that had that statistic. He was making up a statistic.
Yeah, you're right. Where's his link to? Where's he reading it? Of what poll? It's just a Trump in his mind. It's the one that he likes the best.
I mean,
he just makes up stuff.
Overall, impeachment is slightly under 50%.
Oh, according to him.
But it was over 50 for a while.
It's still
wasn't.
But like you said, where's his link?
Trump always runs in the 40s.
No, well, this is just on the question of impeachment. Okay. So
as soon as you get Nadler back, he has got he is so unlikable. I guess Schiff isn't very likable either, especially to Republicans.
I think Schiff is very likable.
Yeah, maybe to you.
Yeah, to me.
Kevin did a good Schiff.
Jeff? Do you find Schiff okay? Does he bother you at all? No, you don't have your mic on. How about you, Sibby? How do you feel about
I think it's
Adam
terrific.
Schiff?
I think he's not bad. If you were to compare him with Jim Jordan, you know who's better.
Jim Jordan.
I compare him with Jim Jones.
Jim,
the thing about Schiff is he makes shit up. You complain about Trump. Schiff is reading stuff into the congressional record that has nothing to do with reality.
Says who?
Says he says Schiff. He apologized for it.
His voice is cracking. Yes, it went up.
When his voice is cracking, Phil knows he doesn't believe what he's saying.
And you're an expert of voice analysis. Okay,
yes, I am.
Tony.
As a matter of
fact.
I'm
talking to Tony.
Oh, Tony.
No, but I know my mother's lying to me, and I can see his eyes moving a little bit, Phil.
Phil belongs to 35%. There's no way he's gonna sway. His vote is secure for Trump.
Absolutely.
And
I would vote for Trump over. I would like to see a Jew in the White House. But I don't think that Bloomberg is. I don't know if there's any Jew that I would vote for.
I'm not satisfied with Bloomberg. Okay.
I mean, he's not going to win.
He's a smart guy.
Trump.
He's run the largest city in America. He has the money to finance his campaign beyond financing.
But
the problem is Bloomberg.
He's helping. They don't.
Well, you know what? Marjorie said this, and she was absolutely right. Whatever money he was going to spend on his own campaign, he should give to whoever the nominee is.
In a way, that's what he's doing. I tried to say earlier that he's exempt. Tony, wait a minute. He's exempt from PACs. You see, PACs pay more money than an individual has to pay on his own campaign, number one. Number two, he's exempt from the campaign spending laws that he's doing. So he can pump in a lot more money than PACs and other things that do advertising for the candidates. Now, what he's doing is he is sending out an anti-Trump message, and maybe that's his intention all along is to try to hurt Trump. But I think his ego is going to get in the way, and he'll want to have the office. And I don't know that he'd do a bad job, but I don't agree with a number of the stances that he has, the anti-gun and so forth. But when it came to running New York, he was stop and frisk, and he was even more aggressive with it than
Well,
Giuliani
he's apologized for that.
Well, because he thought he had to. Every Democrat's been apologizing.
Phil. Hey, Phil. At least he apologized. Trump has never apologized for anything, no matter how wrong he's been.
Because Trump is not a loser like those guys.
No. Being a loser, and is not the
an
same.
Apologist.
All I'm saying is that by not apologize, you should be able to apologize now and then. It shows the mettle of the person.
Obama immediately after he was elected apologized to the countries in the Middle East. He was an apologist. He's known as an apologist. And then Beto O'Rourke and a number of other ones. They're all apologizing. You know what happened with the Me
but
Too
Trump doesn't apologize.
Trump
doesn't apologize when he should, Phil.
I know, but if Trump apologized, they would take that as meat to a rabid dog, and they would go after him like nobody's tomorrow. If he apologizes,
you know something,
for anything,
I would say if he apologized for something,
because of the way he's conducted himself.
No, what about these other guys that didn't do anything wrong, like Beto O'Rourke or Obama?
The thing is, if he apologized for something, I think it would so unnerve people, and they wouldn't know what to do if he apologized.
No, they would jump on it.
That's just like the same reason he's never going to quit either. He'll never resign.
Yeah, they would jump on that, and they would look at it as a weak chink in the armor, and they would go right after.
He said chink.
That's right.
You said chink.
Yeah, what's a chink is what the chain.
Friday night,
a weak chain.
Yeah, sure, Phil, sure.
Or
Yes, Sibby.
I paid Friday.
Yeah, I've always felt this, that if Trump wins the 2020 elections, I believe that there won't be any more 2024 elections, because he's going to create situations where he's going to say that, the situation in this country is so bad, or whatever it is, for the security of the opposing candidate, whatever, we'll have to postpone the election. And the court is going to go with him.
Martial law.
No, the court is going to go with him. He's going to pack the court. I can see it happening, because Trump knows that the moment he leaves the presidency, he's going to be in trouble. He's never going to vacate.
The court has gone against him on several things. I don't think that
Phil? What recently?
Some immigration policies and so forth.
Really? Which ones? I didn't hear that.
He's going to get one more.
I've heard about some of the other courts, lower courts doing it, but I haven't heard about the Supreme Court doing it.
Entirely possible. And he's running around talking about Article 2, Article 2, Article 2. The president can do anything he wants.
Yes.
And then and he gets the court. Boy, he's going to have all kind of power, isn't he?
Let me tell you.
You're probably right, Sibby.
Let me tell you one more reason. He's gonna get one more vacancy in the Supreme Court, and I believe that he's gonna pack someone like a Janine Pirro or someone as a Supreme Court judge.
Oh, that's the Judge Janine. He likes her. She's nuts.
What are you going to do? It's going to be complete majority for him. He's done. If 2020 election doesn't go against him, he's going to be the president for life. I truly believe that.
That's just scary shit.
I guess you guys are lucky he's older.
All you need is a court.
And by the way, when you said earlier that he would go after Buttigieg for being too young, Buttigieg could turn around and say, but you're too old.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah, but he could say, I've been doing the job and the people love me.
No, only 40% only 35% of the people love you. The rest of us hate your fucking guts.
Well, 35% was 63 million that voted for him. And
fake poll.
Yeah, how about the 66 million that didn't?
Yeah, well, luckily for Trump, the Democrats never get out of bed on an election day.
No, what happened to Trump, they did get out of bed. The fact is it was the wrong ones that got out of bed in the wrong states. And the fact that the Democrats weren't good at gerrymandering as the Republicans were.
Well, I guess we're still good at it.
Well, that's not, I can't feel comfortable with that. I don't know about you,
I'm sure you'll get your ticket for the inauguration.
Huh?
You'll get your ticket for the inauguration.
Well, I can go. I just show up and hang out there, By the way, quickly, did you hear that Trump is inviting all the people that he likes to have a weekend at Camp David?
Who's he like?
Well, no. There's our dime being spent to feed Republicans,
I wonder if
did you see him not want to touch the dog yesterday, too?
Really?
No. What's his name touched the dog? The vice president. There was a lot of petting.
He liked the dog, but Trump didn't want nothing to do with him.
Oh, really?
There isn't even a dog in the White House. He doesn't have a dog.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't see that.
That's so un-American. He can't have a pooch.
But I think Pence was pulling the dog, the whole time. Trump said something about a muzzle. And he says, nah, the dog doesn't need a muzzle.
He says, no, the dog would get worse with a muzzle. He didn't know shit about that dog.
I was hoping and praying that fucking dog would bite him.
I was hoping he'd take a leak.
Huh?
I was hoping he was going to lift his leg and take a piss on him.
I don't think that happens with those dogs.
No, it's not his leg. It's a female dog.
Hey, listen, we've run out of time.
And then one of the reporters says, "You're going to adopt the dog for Barron?"
Anyway, I'm running out of time here, both on this program and I guess in life in general. So
you're gonna be fine.
You'll be fine.
That's what they've all said so far, and so far they've all been wrong. No, you don't have cancer. Really?
So the first urologist was right. He wanted to give you a biopsy months ago.
Yes, but he would have immediately taken extreme measures to solve the problem, and I didn't want that. I wanted a doctor I could trust, and I've got one I can trust. Everybody, I got to say quickly, Tony, Sippy, Phil, Kevin, and Jeff, all wave a big wave goodbye because I got to get the fuck out of here, okay? Bye-bye. Okay, there they go. Here we go. Okay, there we go. All righty. Let me hang up on these fine folks here and get the lines ready for the next program, which will be coming up here, which will be what is it? Oh, it's the intersection. Jack Bishop. We'll be back again here tomorrow night, same time. But last show of the week, by the way, last show of the week. But same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, if you see her, yeah, you know what to do. As always, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.